What is your American dream?
My American dream kind of aligns with Martin Luther King, his speech, I have a dream, and what he wanted. I want our children to be safe. I want us as a people, and that's not just, when I say a people, I mean people who are overlooked, people who are not treated fairly. That means you don't have to be black and you don't have to be brown, but they may have mental health issues. So my dream would be that we could just all be treated fairly, and that black men can go out and drive and be safe. That is the only dream I have at this point.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's another day, and here we are, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Lord.
Right?
Yeah, we are
Here we are. Wednesday, September 22nd, Hump Day. What is it? The Earth went around the sun.
I don't know.
No, the sun went around the Earth went around the Earth rotated around.
The first day of autumn. That's all I know.
Is it the first day of
I
autumn?
believe so. I believe
it is.
so.
Something's weird in the air today.
Yeah.
On this first day of autumn. What's going on? Isn't it like a weird?
Whoa.
That's weird. When was the last time we saw us like that?
That is weird.
That's weird. I'm telling you, there's a lot of weird things going on.
Well, we're going to see how this show goes today.
I don't know. It's a lot of weird stuff going on right now. But it's Hump Day.
It is.
Let's get into it. Pape Samuel, squad up. Jessica Kalimi, Joel Davis. It's Hump Day. Yo-Yo's in the comments. By the way, Vanessa is on assignment today.
Yes.
We've assigned her an assignment. She'll be back tomorrow. Elsa, Lisa, Enot, squad up. How are you? Carol Anderson, the Tiger. Elizabeth Francis, Dembasau. Babita Diarani, squad up. Brad and team. And Marcia McCullough, how are you? Cynthia Wallace, I see you in the comments. Overcomer. Squad up. And Stargirl Mika, how are you? And who else we got here? Laverne Facey, how are you as well? Overcomer.
I like that.
Overcomer.
That's an overcomer right there.
Overcomer. Celia Enot, squad up, double fisting Deion Watson. Nurse HDZ. Sergey Williams, how are you? Dawa Sherpa did not get the question answered yesterday. Dawa,
You better put it in now.
You could either put it in now, or how about this, Dawa? Why don't you call right now? And the number scrolling on the bottom, you can speak to me directly, because we do have open lines. Or put the question in right now. Susie Q, Babin S official, Maudlin Laird, squad up. It's Ricky time.
Hey.
Ricky time, saying hello. Jose Valdez Caceres, squad team. Sounds like a coffee maker, right?
Yeah.
Gonna go to Starbucks, or should we go to that?
it.
Jose Valdez Caceres. That sounds like a better coffee, right?
That sounds like some good coffee.
That sounds like some good coffee. And Prem Medella, squad up. Carlene. A lot of people like the double names.
The double names.
Yes.
On YouTube.
Yeah, like Yo-Yo. I think you started a trend. I mean,
The squad started
nobody
the
was
trend
nobody
for
was
me.
doing it. I mean,
Until
you. I mean, your name was Yo, and then went to
yeah.
Yo-Yo, and everyone started
I'm
doing
a
it.
trendsetter.
Trendsetter. All right, I should take it away.
Absolutely. All right, squad. What we need you guys to do right now is share on every single one of the platforms you guys are watching on. And even if you're not watching on the platforms, I need you to share. And also on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Turn that gray thumb blue, all right? Everybody, give us a thumbs up that are watching on YouTube, because we're going to start schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines, including pressure that immigrants and their supporters are putting on Democrats. to get a pathway to citizenship incorporated into the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation package. And of course, it is Hump Day. We are on Wednesday. Squad, is going to be a Hump Day with just Brad and I.
Of course, we're missing our female co-host for Hump Day.
Yeah.
Let me just move a little this way.
Just a little further.
Yeah, a little further away from you there.
Because
right?
yes, we're definitely going to be talking about some racy headlines, including that it seems to be streaking season in the Big Apple.
Yes, I have noticed that.
You have noticed that?
I have noticed that. Lots of people walking around without any clothes on in the Big Apple here. And of course, you can call Spar at Bernstein at 1-800-529-5465. If you call right now, you will get your immigration questions asked and answered on our show. We have about 4 open lines still, so you do have about less than 5 minutes to call, because probably the lines will be locked and loaded by then. Internationally, it's +1 212-227 8933. And after we schmooze, after I answer all of your immigration questions, Yo-Yo's going to be scouring the comments in Facebook and YouTube, as well as on our Brad Squad membership page for our top questions, issues, problems that need to be solved immediately. And then after that, we will hear the second part of my discussion with award-winning Syrian visual artist Rashwan Abdelbaki, who has been based in the New York area since January 2017, arriving in America just 1 week before the Trump administration travel ban, barring people from Syria, amongst other countries. All right, you ready to start schmoozing?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the pressure is getting a little tighter now for Plan B. The pressure is on the Democrats to get this done. Plan A didn't work out very well for them. The parliamentarian turned it down. They turned down the amnesty for DACA recipients, TPS. They turned down the amnesty for agricultural workers. Turned down the amnesty for essential workers. After that was turned down by the parliamentarian over the weekend, yesterday, a crowd of thousands and thousands and thousands of immigrants and their supporters, they went across the country, from across the country. They came to Washington, D.C. in what was basically, to organize this extraordinarily short period of time, demanding Congress include a new pathway for green cards for undocumented people in America. As we talked about yesterday, the pathway that Congress wanted to do, the Democrats wanted to do, to put in the reconciliation bill, the 4 different amnesty bills, that got shot down by the parliamentarian. They are now in Plan B. People are demonstrating for Plan B. Plan B, if you missed it yesterday, it is changing the registry date. That registry is an old form of amnesty in the United States of America. It is on the books right now that if you were physically here on January 1st, 1972, you can get an amnesty. And the reason why most people never heard of registry is because most people who've been here since 1972 already got their green cards.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I read a total of 58 people applied for registry in the last 6 years in the United States of America. 58 people.
Oh,
that's all that it would have covered. And by the way, a couple were from my office. At least 2, maybe 3, but at least 2 of them came from my office, because I know I've done at least 2, maybe even 3 that I can recall in the last couple of years.
Wow.
So the demonstrators called out the parliamentarians' ruling, specifically in speeches and signs during the Welcome Back Congress March for Citizenship, Care, and Climate rally. They also pressed Congress to pass ambitious climate legislation as well. Standing outside ICE headquarters Luis Aguilar, the Virginia director for CASA, said for 4 years under the Trump administration, immigrants felt like enemies of the country, enemies of the United States of America. The government, Aguilar said, did as much as possible to remove immigrants and silence immigrants. At least now under the Biden administration, people feel the community can protest for a potential solution. He said a pathway to citizenship should be included in the budget reconciliation package because of the ways immigrants contribute to the nation's economy. Of course, I think everybody is in agreement with that. Senator Majority Leader Charles Schumer, he spoke to the crowd yesterday. He said that he will continue to fight for a pathway. As he was giving his speech, a majority, but most of the protesters broke out into a chant, "Do your job! Do your job!" And you want to know what? I would have said the same exact thing. A majority of Americans, 69% of Americans, that's almost 7 out of 10 American voters, believe there should be a pathway for immigrants to obtain their green cards as long as they meet certain requirements. This is according to the Pew Research Center. There is still a partisan split, however. The poll shows 86% of Democrats support undocumented immigrants having a pathway to getting legal residence, while only 48% of Republicans, which is almost 1 out of 2, which is still extraordinarily surprising. So right now, we're waiting on the parliamentarian to decide on Plan B. Moving the registry date. The registry date will be moved from January 1st, 1972 to some date. We don't know.
Hopefully.
We're hoping January 1st, 2020.
2020 or 2021.
2021. We don't know. And if that date is moved and the parliamentarian gives a thumbs up on that, the registry date will be included in the budget reconciliation, the change of the registry date. If the reconciliation passes, what that would mean for undocumented immigrants, if you were physically present on the day that the registry date changed to. So hypothetically, if it's January 1st, 2020, and you were physically here on January 1st, 2020, and again, hypothetical date, we don't know.
Right.
And you can prove you never left the United States from January 1st, 2020, which is our hypothetical Bradshaw Live date for registry, you would be eligible to file your adjustment of status application immediately. What do you get with adjustment of status? You get your work permit. You get your travel document. And ultimately, you would get an opportunity to get your green card. And ultimately, that's what we want. And by the way, people are going to ask, does it matter how I came? Not for registry. Oh, if you entered without inspection, you're cool. If you came on a visa, you are cool. The only thing is that you still have to be admissible to the United States of America. So if you have multiple crimes of moral turpitude, aggravated felonies, you may be barred from adjusting your status. But presuming you don't, you would be good to go, and your family members would be good to go. It's also possible, people say, well, what if my spouse has a criminal record and I don't? You get your registry, and then your spouse files for registry thereafter and can do a waiver through you because you already have the green card and you could show hardship. So, I mean, there's always ways around things, depending. They're also going to change the 245I rule. That's the grandfathering rule. Now, I remember, Jonathan, when I was a younger chicken. a younger Brad Bernstein with a full head of hair, a full head of black hair, not gray hair that I have now. Perhaps a little more thin around the jowls over here. Not this Brad. 1999, 2000 Brad. Okay, when I was a lawyer for about 6 years. They passed the 245, 7 years. They passed the 245I. We had people in my little office. I had a smaller office back then, lined up down the hall. I couldn't fit them all in my office. And we had a race to get as many applications filed before April 30th. All of the April 30th, 2001. And all of those people that we filed before April 30th, 2001, all of them would but for 245I would never have been able to get their green cards. So I mean, we got green cards for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, who knows how many people, all because they beat the filing deadline. And they were eligible because they beat that filing deadline under 245I. They were able to adjust their status. I was just actually having a laugh with some of the Spar and Bernstein team members who have been around for a very long time. And we were saying, wow, remember when 245I last passed, we were here in the office till 1 in the morning, making sure everybody's applications every day, 7 days a week. We ate so much pizza. We were ordering pizza for lunch. We were ordering pizza for dinner. But we got the job done because we were talking about, oh my gosh, if this passes again, remember last time,
it's going to be
like pizza for lunch, pizza for dinner. We'll be here till 3 in the morning every day, but we will get it done. So 245I was an enormous saver for so many people who entered without inspection, who are married to U.S. citizens, for people who came on visas whose parents were filing for them, that they didn't have to go home, brothers and sisters filed for them, job sponsorships. There were so many job sponsorships done in the 245 era, people who overstayed their visas, people who came without inspection, who otherwise would not have been able to adjust their status, and if they had gone home would have a 10-year bar. Even to this day have 10-year bars. So, if 245I passes and you don't qualify for the registry date, you would still be able to do job sponsorships, family sponsorships, and be able to ultimately file your adjustment here, just like you would through registry. A couple more hoops you got to jump through. But so those are the two things. Those are the two things that's Plan B. And that's what people are protesting at in Washington, D.C. That's why people are actively watching our Schmooze right now. They want to know what's going on. We are all waiting on bated breath. That's another saying, we don't know where that came from.
Bated breath.
Bated breath. Like yesterday, by the skin of our teeth, we talked about. Today, it's bated breath. I don't know what that means, but I do know what it means. It means we're all holding our breath, waiting for what the parliamentarian. Jonathan, are you unwired? What's going on with you? You're frozen? Jonathan is a frozen yo-yo today.
Right.
All right. Well, he'll get unfrozen shortly. But by the way, Jilly, with the knowledge in my ear, bated breath comes from Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice. Bated breath in The Merchant of Venice.
And what is that?
You're holding your breath. You are you are holding your breath in anticipation. You're holding your breath in anticipation of what may happen. The Merchant of Venice, obviously in Shakespearean times, Venice was an extraordinarily powerful city, merchant city. They were the richest city in Italy at the time. All right,
Jilly.
so we learned something new every day. We are all on bated breath on the parliamentarian. Now, assuming the parliamentarian, which, based on her last decision, I believe the parliamentarian's going to go positive on this one, because they're not making new laws. We talked about it. The parliamentarian says you're making a new law and trying to sneak it in as a budget thing. This is a change in an existing law to raise revenue.
Exactly.
So I believe this would pass muster. Is that also Shakespearean? Passing muster? I don't know. But I believe it should pass muster. If it does, it gets into the reconciliation bill, And then the big question would be, because we will be on bated breath a second time, can the Democrats come together and pass the reconciliation bill? There is actually two bills. There is the reconciliation bill and there is an infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill has already been passed by a bipartisan Senate. It is a moderate, centrist infrastructure bill that provides $1 trillion or something close to that for specific infrastructure projects around the United States that is desperately needed. Progressives wanted several $trillion infrastructure package. They didn't get it. They are now putting it into this budget reconciliation. The progressives are saying they will not pass the infrastructure package unless they get their $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill, which would provide for increase in taxes on the wealthy, free college, which is a great thing, by the way,
yes,
for all associate's degrees. All community colleges around the United States of America will now become free.
Nice.
So anyone in the United States of America would be able to go to community college for free. They're going to give,
amazing.
all sorts of childcare credits and,
Nice.
Preschool stuff and, and
Stuff
and
we know we
stuff
need.
all needed. Right. I don't know the whole list,
We
but
all
trust me,
need
it's
that,
all
yes.
social services giving money to people who need it.
Yes.
The progressives want that bill to pass.
Nice.
They will not pass the infrastructure bill. Now you have the moderates, like
God.
Joe Manchin, who's the senator. He says he would never vote for $3.5 trillion. The Democrats need his vote. He's a Democratic senator. So this is all a negotiation now amongst Democrats. Has nothing to do with Republicans. The Democrats need to get together, the progressives, which are the ultra liberals, and the moderates, which are the more centrist. You could say the moderates are your Bill Clintons of the world. Your progressives are the AOCs of the world and the Bernie Sanders of the world. These two groups of people need to come together to be able to pass both the infrastructure and the reconciliation, of which the immigration will be part of it.
Got you.
Yesterday, Representative Pramila Jayapal, the chairwoman of the Progressive Caucus, that's the AOC Bernie Sanders wing, she stood by her claim that her members will not vote for the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill without passing the $3.5 trillion package.
Oh, wow.
Senator Manchin, who's part of the Bill Clinton group, he wrote an op-ed article. He would never, ever, ever vote for $3.5 trillion. That was about 10 days ago.
Oh, man.
So there has to be a compromise at some point in time in order to get all of this done. That requires an amazing political feat of magic by Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. They need to bring the two groups together
hopefully
to pass all of this, provided the parliamentarian allows the immigration bill to go in. And this all has to happen within the next week or two.
So many loopholes.
This all has to happen within the next week or two.
Right.
So, you know what they say about being a politician, a good politician. A good politician has mastered the art of compromise.
Right.
Okay? That is what a good politician will do. Hopefully there are enough good politicians in the Democratic Party that can muster the art of compromise, that they may not get everything, but they are fully satisfied that they've helped their constituents more than by not voting on it.
Yeah.
So by not voting on it, that's just being obstinate. You are never going to get everything you want. But if you get most of what you want and you have a better deal than no deal,
It's a win-win.
it's a win-win.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what's going to happen. Now, Nancy Pelosi would not confirm to CNN because September 27th is the day this is all supposed to be voted on. We still don't even know if the immigration plan B is going to be in the bill on September 27th, which is 5 days from now. She would not confirm to CNN if she plans to schedule the vote for both the infrastructure bill and the reconciliation package. There is so much going on behind closed doors that we don't know about yet. Okay? We will find out more over the next few days. That, Yo-Yo, is where we stand
All right.
in Washington, D.C. Moving on. A new book by Bob Woodward. You know who he is?
No.
He is the reporter who broke the Watergate scandal.
Oh,
Woodward and Bernstein. No relation to
Yes.
this Bernstein, but another famous Bernstein.
Yes.
There's more than one famous Bernstein in this world.
Right.
Woodward and Bernstein Bernstein was the reporter with Bob Woodward who broke the Watergate scandal that ultimately ended in Richard Nixon's resignation. Bob Woodward has come out with a new book. Bernstein's not part of this book. He wrote it with a different guy, and it was co-authored with Washington Post reporter Robert Costa about the transition of the Donald Trump presidency, what happened after the election, through the insurrection, through Joe Biden becoming president. And now fresh evidence in this book shows what many people in Trump's inner circle knew in January, that his case to stay in power was meritless, but he was an unchained commander-in-chief who listened to acolytes pushing wild conspiracies. It was revealed in this book that Trump had blueprints that the Republicans tried to use to prevent Congress from certifying President Biden's clear and genuine victory in the form of a memo that laid out a plan for then Vice President Mike Pence to thwart Biden's Electoral College triumph on January 6. It was written by lawyer John Eastman. It laid out a 6-step plan which included Pence throwing out the results in 7 states because they allegedly had competing electors. In fact, no state had actually put forward an alternate slate of electors. They were merely Trump allies claiming without any authority to be electors. And under Eastman's scheme, Pence would have declared Trump the winner with more Electoral College votes. The plan was first proposed to Pence when Eastman was with Trump in the Oval Office. Woodward wrote in peril that Trump said to Pence at that meeting, "You really need to listen to John Eastman. He's a respected constitutional scholar. Hear him out." In the end, Mike Pence did not go along with Eastman's scheme, concluding that the Constitution did not give him any power beyond counting the electoral votes. When Pence refused, Trump turned on his vice president, attacking him on Twitter, even having people at the insurrection try to go bring Mike Pence out of Congress and hang him.
And they listened.
Peril also contains a passage that shows Trump cared little for the truth, what voters decided in November, or bedrock constitutional values, but agonized about his reputation. The paper trail, which is likely to be of intense interest in the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. And as fact, General Miley at the time, who was the Joint Chief of Staff, he had to speak to his counterpart in China, who was concerned, and he admitted this happened, who was concerned that Trump was going to start World War III with China. Right around January 6th, he had to call his counterpart in China to say, the United States is not going to start a war with you, and you have my personal word that if we will start a war with you, you'll get a call from me first.
Right.
Just so nobody would have an itchy trigger finger.
Yeah.
You know, China's got nuclear weapons too. You know, we don't want them to miscalculate and start a war when we weren't starting a war. But they were concerned enough, General Miley was concerned enough that he had to call his counterparts in China. You didn't realize this at the time, how scary it all was.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a lawsuit. By the companies that made the 2 voting machines for libel and slander. 2 weeks after the 2020 election, a team of Donald Trump's lawyers held a news conference saying that these voting machines were rigged and that some unknown people from Venezuela, remember this?
Yes.
Some unknown people from Venezuela, financed by George Soros, who always finances democratic causes, tried to steal the presidential election from Donald Trump. But the problem was that there was internal memos within the Trump White House that within 2 weeks of the election, there were internal memos given out to the president, to the vice president, and his entire team saying all of these accusations they knew were not true. Yet they continued to peddle it on Fox News, other right-wing media. To this day, there is a large minority of people in America who believe these voting machines were rigged. Even the pillow guy, remember that stupid pillow guy who sells the pillows on Fox News? He was walking around, what's his name? Mike Lindell. He was walking around with papers saying, I have the proof here.
Right.
Now, court papers filed last week as a motion in a defamation lawsuit brought against the Trump campaign and others in the Trump administration by former Dominion employee Eric Coomer contain evidence that they were absolutely aware this was all BS. It was Trump trying to steal the election. It was really a coup.
Trolling.
He was trying in 2 different ways. He was trying to get Pence to overturn the election, and he was trying to convince people that the election was a fraud because these voting machines were rigged.
Which is both illegal, right?
Now, according to emails contained in these motions and documents, Zach Parkinson, then the Trump campaign's deputy director of communications, reached out to his team on November 13th, asking them to substantiate or debunk several matters concerning the Dominion voting machines. The next day, the emails show Parkinson received a copy of a memo put together by his staff from news articles and fact-checking services. The memo rebutted a series of allegations that Trump's people were making in public, including that Dominion did not use voting technology from the software company Smartmatic in the 2020 election, that Dominion had no direct ties to Venezuela, Dominion had no direct ties to George Soros, and that there was no evidence that Dominion's leadership had any connections to Antifa activists, as Trump was claiming. So there's $1 billion lawsuit on that.
Do you think they have an actual case?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And it's
Good.
also against Fox News and many other right-wing news medias. Meanwhile, our friends at Johns Hopkins University, Yo-Yo,
Yes.
say there are now 42.48 million confirmed coronavirus cases, more than 680,000 deaths. Worldwide, 229 million cases, 4.7 million deaths worldwide. According to the latest Fox News poll, we don't like Fox News here, but we're going to use their polls. Majorities of Americans support both wearing masks and support vaccine mandates. This is Fox News saying this. 3/4 of registered voters are extremely concerned about the pandemic. Sizable majorities of Americans believe we should be wearing face masks. That's 69%. 65% of Americans believe that vaccines are effective and favor a different various range of mandates requiring people to take the vaccine. The new survey released Sunday finds 2/3 believe schools should require masks of teachers and students, and businesses should do the same. So a vast majority of Americans believe in masks, they believe in mandates, and they believe in the vaccine. And this is coming from Fox News.
News.
All right. It's hump day, Jonathan.
Let's let out the
Are you ready?
camels.
Are you ready? Are you ready for hump day?
Listen, I'm as ready as I can be.
All right, just make sure you're more than an arm's length away
This
from me.
right here doesn't help.
No,
'cause
this
it looks
does
like
not
we're
help.
a lot
Give you a
closer.
right. Much
Yeah,
better.
there we go.
All right, so as I said, there have been numerous sightings of people running naked through the streets of New York City, including one sighting of a man wearing only black socks. Here he is right there. Shoes, carrying a gym bag. Completely naked. Shoes, black socks, gym bag. And he's sauntering around the streets of the Upper East Side.
Look at him at the
All right,
restaurant.
completely naked as he's passing people at restaurants. This unmasked streaker, he's casually walking. It's not like he's running through the streets. Casually walking near Central Park on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight, prompting socialite Dory Cooperman to post a picture of his derriere on Instagram with the comment, "Only in New York." So it is a true sighting. This past week, he gave a show to outdoor diners, including Park Avenue socialite Eleanora Kennedy, when he wandered past swanky eatery Amaranth on 62nd Street. That's on 62nd between Madison and 5th.
Okay.
It has been a season of streakers in the Big Apple. The Today Show got on its own news flash and cut to commercials after a streaker sprinted into the studio on Monday. Past the studio on Monday morning while hosts Hoda Cobb, Savannah Guthrie, and Craig Melvin were live on the air. They had to cut to a commercial. The naked runner was seen jogging right outside the NBC Studios 1A window that looks out onto the streets of Midtown Manhattan.
That's hilarious.
I mean, we got streakers everywhere. What the heck's going on in New York?
Too bad this isn't a window.
Yes. Now, there was a naked runner, Melvin said, before attempting to segue into a bit about Cobb's new podcast. What's happening? Oh my gosh, Hoda, a flustered Guthrie added. Now, the streaker made off in a flash. Unfortunately for NBC, his lower half was mostly concealed. It all started, I know when this all started.
When?
There was a Valentine's Day run.
Oh, gosh.
About 2 years ago. I believe we know who the first streaker was. Do you know who the first streaker was in New York City? Yes, it was our very own Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
These damn pictures will never.
Our first streaker in New York City. He was running around in his underwear, red underwear, with a what is it? Like a
wings and a bow and arrow.
Little bow and arrow. You were ready to. There he was, streaking just in his red underwear.
Mercy.
And you know what? And I think these other people, they got a little stir crazy. They saw you. They said,
trendsetter.
We're gonna one up Yo-Yo. We're just not even gonna.
Oh God, that scared me. I thought that was me. I was like, wait.
We're not even gonna put on the red underwear. We're just going naked.
Yeah, they one up me.
So that's what's going on. Meanwhile, it's not just men, Yo-Yo. It's women too. An anonymous blonde woman set passenger shaming sites aflame after she was filmed strolling through a U.S. airport in nothing but a bikini. With a face mask. She had an itsy bitsy bikini and a face mask. And she was going on Spirit Airlines.
Of course.
Yeah, so the caption of the viral video reads, "When you have a pool party at noon and a Spirit Airlines flight to catch at 4, this is what you look like." So it went completely viral. The footage features the woman walking nonchalantly through the terminal of Spirit Airlines Terminal Airport, sporting an olive green swimwear and toting a backpack. While the airport attire may be questionable, she was still wearing a face mask.
That's too funny.
Yes, it's unclear if she actually got on the plane or not.
I don't think you can.
I wouldn't think.
I could have sworn I read a story of somebody who, like, it was a lady who had a blouse or something that was a little too revealing, and she got
kicked off of American.
Yeah.
But this is Spirit. That's completely different. All hell breaks loose on Spirit Airlines.
There was a rapper just last week that had a microphone and she was rapping up and down the aisle.
Every time something crazy happens, isn't it? It doesn't on airlines. It's always on Spirit Airlines.
Spirit is like $10 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like some crazy stuff happening on Spirit Airlines. Meanwhile, this is just absolutely just strange. I'm sorry, I have to talk about this, Jonathan, but it's in my cards.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, according to the Danish national broadcast DR, young Danes are sticking nicotine pouches up their asses for fun.
Isn't that dangerous though?
Why? What is a nicotine patch going to do up your tuchus? What is a nicotine patch going to do up your tuchus? Is it going to prevent you from what?
People are bored.
That
man.
is bored. I mean, come on. Health experts from across Denmark, including the country's National Health Institute,
that doesn't even look safe.
They're confirming the trend. Nicotine pouches are very popular in Scandinavia. In July, a Danish law came into effect that banned the use of nicotine pouches during school hours.
What?
So perhaps what it is because the law now says that you can't have a nicotine patch during school hours, people are hiding it up their tuchus.
So now, wouldn't that cause anal cancer or something?
I have no idea what it would cause, but I would say it would cause complete discomfort, you know. One teenager spoke and recounted how he and a group of friends, it's a group of friends getting together and sticking it up their tuchus. This is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
The moral of the story, tobacco is not good for you no matter where you stick it. That is the Brad Show Live PSA.
There we go.
For our public service announcement. Public service announcement.
There we go.
All right. Yeah. Public service announcement. There
Say
you
no
go.
to drugs in your tuchus.
That's right. All right. And finally, Jonathan, an OnlyFans model claims.
Okay.
We're at OnlyFans now.
Oh,
she claims she is so attractive, she doesn't have or need any female friends. Mariah Mills said female friendships are hard for her because women are afraid she's just too damn hot.
So this is so interesting. I literally just had a conversation with my friend last night, and she's a gorgeous model. And we were just having this conversation last night. Just having it last night.
And she was saying that she's too hot to have friends?
She didn't really say it like that, but she was hanging out with very, very famous models who have millions of followers, and they met up at a rooftop randomly, right? And they were like, oh my God, you're so pretty, your skin is so chocolate, and the other girl was chocolate too, so it was all love. Then they met again later that weekend at Drake's party, and they were in the same section, and they literally turned up their nose and looked the other way.
Is it because
they want all the attention for themselves?
They're jealous?
Yeah.
There's jealousy involved.
Yeah.
Well, Mariah Mills has argued that her curves are all natural. She's done no surgery, and she's hoping to get a breast reduction so people will stop looking at her 34 triple Ds. Triple D! She added that having a curvy, voluptuous figure has discouraged her from having any friends.
Yeah.
On Britain's This Morning, she said, I've had female friends before, but as I grew up and cared more about my appearance, the friends have become less and less. I've had women tell me they don't want me around because their husband is looking at my 34 triple Ds.
It makes sense. It's unfortunate, and I can see why she would be lonely.
Well, she says she doesn't get lonely. She has a dog, and she keeps busy. She says, I think men love my body and chest, but lots of women make snide comments about them. I'll catch people staring at me while I'm out, or they'll just start talking to my chest. I'm tired of the comments and constant staring and just want to be able to walk around in public without someone staring at my breasts.
She says she's not lonely, but I believe she is.
Well,
if you're talking about you have your dog and work, and that makes you not lonely.
But then why is she on OnlyFans?
Because she's making money,
promoting her triple Ds.
Listen, it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is it's about to make you money. The curse is look.
By the way, guess how much she makes
from
her gig per month?
How much?
$300,000 a month.
So would you like to ask that question again?
So I will now say to Mariah Mills, don't touch your body. because she may start losing money.
Yeah.
She'll gain some friends, but start losing some money.
Money isn't always happiness.
That is true. Now, Mill, she makes over $300,000. I don't want to upset them, but it is my body and my choice. I do worry that my fans might not like it, though, in terms of getting a breast reduction. Now, meeting people is kind of hard because I feel like they judge a book by its cover before getting to know them. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, she's on OnlyFans, 34 Triple D.
When she talks about that, she's talking about like without, because just seeing her on the street, you wouldn't know that she was on OnlyFans.
That's true.
So, like,
you're still judging.
You're still judging. She could be fully clothed.
That's right.
And you know, in literally anything, but you know, they're always going to judge her or look at her different. You know, so I understand where she's coming from. I understand, not personally, but you know, from people I know.
All right, so that is our hump day of the day, Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
In today's Education, I talk about 7 things you should never post on social media if you're trying to get a visa or United States residency. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Immigration for Education. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. U.S. immigration law is complex and the regulations are constantly changing. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. The Department of Homeland Security collects the social media information of not only anyone who's trying to get a visa or United States residency, but even those who are already naturalized United States citizens. From aliases to photos to likes, all of this is collected and stored in your permanent immigration digital files. So social media posts can be used against you in your immigration case. Now, obviously, the first rule of thumb is to use common sense and think before you post for all the world to see. But some posts that can get you in trouble might really surprise you. Number 1, don't post that you're getting a new job. Number 2, do not post that you are looking for work in the United States if you do not have work authorization. 3, do not post questions on how to set up a United States company in order to obtain a visa. 4, if you are traveling to the United States on a non-immigrant visa, do not post for immigration lawyer suggestions. Number 5, do not post green card questions about getting married. This will raise red flags to the authorities. 6, do not post photographs of yourself which you look like you have multiple girlfriends or boyfriends if you're going into the immigration service for your bona fide marriage interview. Number 7, do not friend strangers. Always be cautious about who you are friending and associating with, because now on social media you can friend people located anywhere in the world. You always say to your children, be careful of strangers. Well, the same thing goes for adults. If you friend someone on social media who is a security risk to the United States of America, well, guess what? Now you're going to be considered a security risk to the United States of America also. Even if you never met this person, have no idea who they are, or did anything wrong yourself, you will be considered a security risk. So I can't state it enough. Use common sense when making friends on social media. And finally, I'm not telling anyone to break the law, but be very cautious about what you have stored on your phone in email and text messages and direct messages on social media, because you have no right to privacy on your phone at the U.S. border or any airport. And remember, too much information is TMI. And also remember, you can see all of our educations on OnlyFans.tv. I am not making $300,000 a month on OnlyFans. I make zero. It's absolutely free. We don't charge anything. I keep my clothes on. But you can watch all of our educations on OnlyFans. OnlyFans.tv.
Yep.
Right? Absolutely free.
There you go.
Not a penny I make. And I'm like this.
You also don't have
I don't have triple D's.
D's.
I'm also a man, so I'm also old and bald and gray. So, all right. Forget about Brad. Let's go to your immigration questions, right? All right. Let's go to Bonnie in Dallas, Texas. Bonnie.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
How are you?
A little bit of back history. I'm currently married to a Jamaican. He got his visitor visa back in 2015, traveled to America twice. Third time, met him in 2019, dated for 2 years, came back in 2020, November. We subsequently didn't want to spend the next few years apart, got married April 2021. He went back to Jamaica. I went back with him for a honeymoon because we did not want to look suspicious. We did not want to look like he came here to marry me. So we went back to he went back to Jamaica. I went to visit him. I came back. He just came back Friday to visit me. Got stopped through customs. They treated him horribly, interrogated him, made him miss his flight, stamped in his passport, no AOS,
No
EOS, or
right.
COS. Yeah, and so now we're like, we researched it, knows what the adjustment of status is, and now that we know what it is, we're like, okay, we'll just do an adjustment of status. But now we're freaking out, trying to figure out, what should we do? Should he go? His return ticket says October 6th. The customs guy was like, we don't want you here. You better leave. Go back on October 6th. So we're trying to figure out, do we do what we're supposed to do, what we're initially going to do, stay 90 days, and then do their AOS? Should he go back on October 6th? But we're scared if he goes back, they won't let him back in because of the stamp. Do we hire an attorney? Do we file the way we were supposed to on our own initially? Because I am a U.S. citizen. We are legally married. We have been since April 2021. What do we do?
Well, first of all, you completely overthought the issue and said, we don't want to be suspicious, so we're going to go, travel on our honeymoon. And that was like the worst thing you could do, because every time you come and enter the United States of America on a visitor's visa, the government gets to decide, are you really coming to visit or are you doing something else? So the biggest mistake you made was going to honeymoon in Jamaica. You should have just stayed here and adjusted status. Now that's water under the bridge already. Okay.
He's got a 4-year-old that he went back to, so that's another thing too.
It's water under the bridge. Okay. With that being said, what they write in the airport when they write no adjustment of status, no extension of status, no change of status, what they write in the airport is not it doesn't have the authorization of law. It is more of a scare tactic than authorization of law. You can still make an application for adjustment of status, and then it would be ultimately up to the immigration officer at your interview whether or not to approve your adjustment of status, trying to figure out what your intent was when he came into the airport. Was his intent to get his green card? Was his intent to visit? Do you need a lawyer? You needed a lawyer from Hello. Yes. But it is not. So my answer would be, let's talk about adjustment of status, because if he were to go home and you were to file a visa petition for him, two things. One, they would certainly stop him at the airport on the next trip. And two, he's going to be waiting 3.5 years to come back. So, yes, you need a lawyer. And the fact that they wrote no adjustment of status at the airport is not authoritative of whether or not you can or can't. All right. So hold on one second.
I can't just file the adjustment myself. Why do I need an attorney?
Because you've already screwed up. How about this? You go file the adjustment yourself and call me in a year from now when your husband gets put in deportation. You can do that.
Oh, okay.
Try it. See what happens.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Why? Why does she need an attorney?
The same reason why you're calling.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, why does she need a lawyer? You know what? After that, I'm like, best of luck. All right, let's go to Mon in Houston. You know what it is? People who don't go through the immigration practice. Obviously, she was a born American citizen. She's never gone through immigration before.
Right.
You know, oh, I'm an American. I can do what I want. No, you can't. You and your husband are going to be separated very, very quickly. And by the way, yeah, you file that adjustment now on before October 6th. He just got here last week. That is, I mean, how many times have we talked about on our show? We didn't even get into that. You know, if you file an adjustment within 90 days,
right,
they already believe he's coming here to file an adjustment.
Listen, all the comments in the comments section agree with you. So,
shaking my head. Yeah. What can I tell you? All right, Mon in Houston, Texas.
Yes, good evening. Yeah, my case is a little bit complicated. Yes. I don't know, or I just use that. I came in 2016 as a B1, B2 with my kids. When I got here, I changed to F1. Then the children changed to F2. Then we are on that. I was doing my program. Then after some time, I got married in 2017.
Right.
So when I got married in 2017, I filed adjustment of status after 8 months.
Okay.
So
by the way, everything sounds perfect so far. What's the problem?
No, is the way it is now. I'm really confused, and I've been using attorney. I've not been doing it by myself. I've used up to 3 to 4 lawyers. They always screw it up, and you know. So
why have you have gone through 3 or 4 lawyers?
Yeah, that they have been assisting to fight different things, but at the end of the day, nothing work out.
Do you and your husband live together?
Yes, we live together.
And and he's a U.S. citizen.
My husband is a U.S. citizen.
Did you file an adjustment of status application?
Yes, we did. We filed adjustment.
Did you get a work permit? Did you get a work permit?
They said they couldn't verify my divorce from Nigeria.
I understand.
That's the only reason that it could.
Okay. So I understand now. You have a divorce from Nigeria. Yes. Every divorce in Nigeria, the U.S. government, for every last one, if you have a divorce from Nigeria, they will investigate the authenticity of that divorce. If you are not 150% certain on the authenticity of your divorce, that it was done 150% correct. And that's not, I hired a lawyer in Nigeria and the lawyer told me it was done 150% correct, because many lawyers I've seen in Nigeria have lied to their clients about the authenticity of their divorces.
No, it is
let me finish.
Okay.
A divorce, I don't know how long a divorce takes in Houston, but a divorce in New York takes 6 months. What I am advising my Nigerian clients now is, even though you have a divorce in Nigeria, if you file an adjustment with a Nigerian divorce, your case is going to be pending for 3 or 4 years while the U.S. government sends somebody to Nigeria to physically walk into a court and figure out if this is an authentic divorce or not. And while you're waiting, you just get to renew your work permit, and many times, but not all, but in a majority of times, the U.S. government comes back and says, this divorce is no good. This is what I've seen. So I'm telling my clients, you know what? I'll tell you what's a lot faster and a lot more certain. Get divorced in New York. Get divorced in Texas. In New York, it takes 6 months. That's a valid divorce. Then marry. And now you have no problem. You can go, and by the way, you're not lying. You go to immigration and say, I have this Nigerian divorce. I don't know if it was good or not. The lawyer told me it was good. I did another divorce in New York or in Texas to be 100% certain, and now I'm filing my adjustment. I'll tell you, that does 2 things. Number one, you're certain to be in a valid marriage. And two, the government doesn't have to fly someone to Nigeria to figure out if your divorce is real or not, because you got your divorce in the States. Now, in your particular case, I have no idea if it's real or if it's not real. But that's the problem that everyone from Nigeria is having these days. You start by authenticating your divorce. And you start by authenticating your divorce by going to the Nigerian consulate and asking them to review this divorce and let the Nigerian government write a letter saying this is a good divorce. That's where you always start. But my advice to Nigerians moving forward, do a divorce here, even if you have a divorce in Nigeria, because it'll be easier and faster. That's why you're having problems. Now, you need a lawyer. I would need to look at your divorce. You know, the other issue is you've been through 4 lawyers already, so I don't know what they've done already.
Okay. Now,
I'm waiting for your. I've said my piece. What do you have to say now?
Okay. Now, my husband now filed an appeal that the divorce is original. That is 100% sure that it's original.
Okay, I would not file an appeal. I would not file an appeal. Appeals take 4 to 5 years. It's still faster. It's still faster to do a divorce in Texas than wait on an appeal for 4 years and just remarry your husband. It's still faster to refile a new adjustment and prove it's a real divorce than wait on an appeal.
Okay. So now that I filed an appeal, and when I did the appeal, I did it only for myself. I didn't do for the children. Now they now send a letter of removal to them for the children to appear in court, and they did not give me any letter.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Your children will be starting a deportation process. You don't have a valid marriage according to the U.S. government. You appealed your case, not your children's cases. Your appeal is going to take 4 to 5 years. I finished telling you for the last 10 minutes what you should be doing. Hold on. Janice in Los Angeles.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. So I have a question. My friend, the question is actually for my friend. So they filed for a U visa. And then the U visa, it came with that they were asking for a request for evidence. Now, on that U visa, on that request for evidence, they say she falsely claimed to be a U.S. citizen. Would that be a problem? So they mentioned inadmissibility,
what was the false claim to U.S. citizenship? It depends. Where did she make a false claim to U.S. citizenship? Doing what?
A driver's license,
license.
She had another license that she claimed.
Mm-hmm. You can, on a U visa, you can apply for a waiver of almost anything inadmissible other than being a terrorist or a Nazi. So she may need to do a waiver.
Okay. What about for willful fraud or willful misrepresentation?
You would need to do a waiver.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So
and then,
yes.
Brad, I have the last question for her.
Mm-hmm.
Once, the request for evidence has been submitted for the I-918, how long does it take for USCIS, maybe how long, for them to respond back to you?
It's supposed
so they'll say, okay, we got your request.
It's supposed to be 120 days. But if they are suggesting that you made a misrepresentation and a lie, unless for sure they're mistaken, for you to argue, I didn't lie, I didn't do this, you're committing a second misrepresentation. You're better off to say, yes, I did it, here's my waiver.
Okay. What about for the marriage? If they went to the, marriage...
If you're doing it through a marriage to a U.S. citizen, a false claim to U.S. citizenship after 1996 is a bar to getting a green card. So then she would never get a green card. So
Say that again. Say that again.
a
Sorry.
false claim to U.S. citizenship after 1996 is a permanent bar to getting a green card through marriage. There's an exception on the U visa, but through a marriage, you're not getting a green card. Because U visas allow waivers for almost anything.
So she would need a waiver.
She needs a waiver. That's what I said 5 minutes ago. Hold on.
No.
Gene in Buffalo.
Hey, bro,
Yes.
how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, how are you? Yo-Yo just said to me, he goes, Brad, you started the show saying it's a strange day. It's autumn, first day of autumn, right? We said it. What can I tell you? All right, Gene, what's going on?
Everything is good, my man. Listen, I have a small question for you, buddy.
Yes.
I'm a BAWA recipient from January 2021. I submit just the I-36.
I-360.
I-360, yes, alone. Just this at the beginning.
Sure.
So, later, on April 2021, I get the prima facie. In July, I submit the combo. I mean, 45,
Okay.
131,
Okay, great.
and yeah. So now, August 2021, they said they gonna reuse my my biometrics.
Great.
Yeah, but my question is this one right here. Can I divorce from my wife now or
Yes,
no?
you can. You can do a divorce. That's not a problem. What you can't do is remarry until the vow is approved.
Great. And what about the work and travel permit? How long am I gonna wait for this, man?
For what? The work
How
permit?
long I need to need to wait for a work permit and travel permit?
Less than 6 months. Especially if they're
Less
using
than six-
especially if they're already using your biometrics, that means they're already working on your background checks.
Okay, so from now, less than 6 months.
Correct.
Great. And what about my friend, Brad? He went to the interview for a regular 130 application, and he went to the interview on May 2021. He's okay about the time, or he waiting too much?
I don't know what happened at the interview. It depends what happened at the interview. Sometimes you go, you get approved. Sometimes they don't believe it's a real marriage. They're going to reschedule you for a Stokes interview. You may wait 18 months for that.
18 months to reschedule an interview for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay, I understand that.
Right.
Thank you, buddy.
All
Be
right.
safe.
Okay, be well. Thank you. Let's go to Sam in Los Angeles.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Brad. Thanks for your show.
My
I
pleasure.
just have a quick question. I'm a permanent resident, but I got it through Asylum, so I don't have a passport. I travel with refugee travel document. So now my question is, my current refugee travel document is expiring. I already sent in an application to get a new one,
Right.
but getting the new one is going to take 9 months.
Right.
But the one that I have in my hand is still valid. Can I still travel with this one?
Yes, as long
that
as
is
it's
in my hand?
as long as it's valid in your hands, you can use it to travel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as it's before the expiration date. Yeah, okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck. Let's go to Gene in Hartford. Gene.
Hello?
Gene.
Hello?
Gene. 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 Put Gene on hold while we figure out why he doesn't hear us. Let's go to Moya in Long Island. Moya. 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 Moya also not listening. Let's go to Abnel in Atlanta.
Yes, good evening, sir, man. I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I do. I hear you.
Yes. Yes, I was entered to the United States on 2007, and I catch a felony, a second-degree felony in 2013. I had get picked up. I sentenced to 2 years probation.
What was the felony?
It was a burglary unoccupied.
Okay, but it was probation, no jail.
No jail time. It was 2 years probation. I said, while I was on probation, I'm visiting my PO and one time and immigration picked me up. So I sit on immigration for...
1 second. Let me just reverse a second so I get the dates right. You got your green card when?
2007.
When did you get arrested for this felony?
2013 or 14.
Okay.
Understood. And I sit on immigration for 5 months, and my case had get dismissed from immigration
with prejudice. You should never have been put in removal in the first place. You should never have been sitting in immigration jail in the first place. Because even though you were found guilty of a felony, for it to be an aggravated felony under immigration law, you had to have been sentenced to at least a year in jail. You got sentenced on a burglary, on a theft offense. You got sentenced to probation. So even though you were found guilty of a felony, for immigration purposes, it was a crime of moral turpitude. If you have one conviction for a crime of moral turpitude that occurs more than 5 years after you obtain your green card, that is not a deportable offense. So you should never have been in immigration in the first place. Ultimately, the judge terminated your case. Too bad you sat in immigration jail for 5 months. Now, your probation is up 2015, right?
Yeah, right.
You've been in no trouble since, right? I hope.
No. What happened was I had get a domestic violence, but he had get dismissed.
You got what?
A domestic violence.
Oh,
that
God,
had get dismissed.
When did that get dismissed?
Like I said, 3 years ago.
Okay, Abner, stop getting yourself arrested. You're playing with fire. Okay?
Okay.
Are you married to a citizen?
As right now, no.
Okay.
But I filed for my green card, I think 2 months ago, and they had sent me to go do the fingerprint.
You can renew your green card. Okay, let me give you some words of advice. Stay out of trouble, because you're playing with fire. Number 2, you can renew your green card. You're not deportable. You have one crime of moral turpitude and a domestic violence that got dismissed. Hopefully that's the case. Okay? So you're still not deportable. You're inadmissible to the United States. So if you travel outside of the U.S. and come back because of that conviction, they will put you in deportation. You got to stay put. 5 years from the time that your domestic violence was dismissed, assuming you don't get yourself in trouble anymore, you're going to file for your citizenship. You're going to have 5 years good moral character. You're not a deportable immigrant, and you're going to become a citizen. Final answer.
Okay. So what now? My concern was I did the fingerprint I think like a month ago, but they haven't get back to me.
You're fine. Based on what you told me, stop getting in trouble. Stop getting arrested. 5 years from the dismissal of domestic violence, you're going to file for citizenship.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. All right. Patrice in Boston.
Hi, Mr. Bernstein.
How are you?
I am good, thank you. How about yourself?
Excellent. What's going on?
Okay, so I've been here in America from 2002, and I used to work on the cruise ship, and I got married in 2012. But before I even got to that point, I fell. I came off the ship, have my I-94, all of that, and then I came to Boston and on vacation, and I fell and fractured my back.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay.
So I had to stay. I couldn't go back to sea and work the way, and I had no family members to look after me because all my family's here.
Moving forward, you got married. I understand why you stayed. Moving forward, you got married to a U.S. citizen. Are you married?
Yes.
Did you get a green card?
No.
Okay. Are you married? Are you married to the man today?
No, I just got a divorce in 2020.
Okay. What happened between you and your husband? Why did you get a divorce?
It was just not working. He came to Boston and we were working it out, and eventually decided he does not want to stay in Boston.
So there was no abuse. You just weren't getting along.
He was verbally abusive, but not physical abusive. After he left Boston, it was very awkward. So I decided that it wasn't worth working on.
All right. So was he verbally abusive on a regular daily?
Basis? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Well, if it was on a regular habitual basis, the verbal abuse, and it affected you, and it was extreme in nature, that could in of itself on a regular habitual basis, day after day after day after day after day, this guy's yelling at me, this guy's cursing at me, this guy's calling me names, he's manipulating me, he's using his power over me, I'm on pins and needles, I don't know what's going to come out of his mouth on a regular basis, I'm in a deep sweat every time I look at this guy, he's giving me palpitations and anxiety, and on and on and on and on and on. If it's like that on a regular daily basis, this guy's just boom, 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 like that with his words. That could be extreme emotional abuse. Could be.
Okay.
Okay? And if that's the case, even though you came on a crewman's visa and you were not eligible to obtain your green card through adjustment based on a bona fide marriage, as a VAWA adjustment, you are eligible to adjust as a crewman. So it's something maybe you want to look into further, with a caveat, you have to do it within 2 years of a divorce.
Okay, so I have to wait 2 years?
No, the opposite. You have 2 years from the time of your divorce to do it.
Okay.
You got divorced in 2020. We're now late 2021. You have months to file it, depending on when you got your divorce.
Okay. All right. So I will call your office because I definitely need to.
Hold on. All right. Let's go to Nick in Hartford.
Yeah. Hi, Brad. How are you? Good. My question is, I applied for VAWA, and my VAWA got approved.
Great.
Now, I was undocumented for a while before my VAWA got approved, and my I-485 is still pending.
Right.
Is it safe to travel with travel permit?
Yes, it is. Even if you are undocumented, if you have a pending adjustment, the fact that you are undocumented does not prevent you from traveling on advance parole. You will be welcomed back to America. Advance parole is for a short, innocent, brief trip abroad. My definition of a short, innocent, brief trip abroad would be a month or less, and you would have absolutely no problem. I've seen people go for 6 weeks, 8 weeks without a problem. But if you want to sleep well at night, for sure, 1 month or less. Short, innocent trip abroad, back, advance parole. Even if you were undocumented for years and years and years and years and years, you're fine. The only people who have to be concerned about traveling on advance parole would be people who are in removal or people who have criminal records.
Okay.
If that's not you, don't worry about it.
Perfect. My next question is it safe to get a divorce now once the VAWA is approved now?
Yes, it is absolutely safe. It was safe before, but certainly it is safe now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck. Let's go to Moya in Long Island. Moya.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Maria, and I am calling. I have a concern. My son, I-130, got approved. We filed 2019 November. We got approved for a minute now, since March. And he's going to be aging out in December. What is it that we can do in order to process that means he's here before he reaches 21?
All right. So who filed for who now?
My husband filed for my kids.
Your husband is a U.S. citizen?
He's a U.S. citizen,
okay,
yes.
And the I-130 is approved?
Yes, it was approved.
And your son is under 21?
Yes, but he's going to be 21 in December.
Where is your son now?
In Jamaica.
Okay, so let me tell you some good news and bad news. There is something called the Child Status Protection Act. It says that if you are filed for by a U.S. citizen parent or step-parent, in this case the step-parent, and the filing occurs by the U.S. citizen step-parent before you are 21 years old, your age is in cement on the day of the filing. So the day your husband filed for his stepson, your son, cemented his age as under 21 under immigration law. So even if he's 30 years old, and he won't be 30 years old when he gets his green card, but even if he is, he's still considered under 21 under the Child Status Protection Act. So he will not age out in December. I promise you that. All right, that's the good news. So there's, the bad news is this: the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica closed recently because of COVID. So who knows when they're gonna open up? And when they do open up, how are they going to deal with this whole backlog? And who are they going to prioritize? We don't know yet. But your son will not age out.
Okay, then one more question.
Yes.
I'm asking the question on behalf of my niece. She wants to know, after being here on work visa permit, how long after that can she apply for a green card to stay?
I don't know what work permit she's on.
Okay, so she's working with the agency, and she just wants to know if there's any way she could apply for a green.
There's no such thing as I'm working for an agency, and
she's doing home health here.
There is no such thing as I'm working for an agency. I'm on some sort of work permit or work visa, and that entitles me to a green card. Perhaps they can sponsor her in a job, but if she's doing home health care, what kind of work visa is she on? I don't even know what work visa she would qualify for. What work visa is she on?
I'm not sure. It's an F1. I'm not sure, so I just asked.
I don't know what work visa she would even be on, because there is no health care. There is no health care, taking care of elderly person work visa. It doesn't exist. And if she's on an F1, then she's violated her student status. So she's basically out of status if she came on a student visa and now is working. So she needs a consultation.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Mush in Miami.
Hi, Brad. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I'm on B2 visa here in USA, and I already applied for my extension of the B2.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, can I apply for the E2 while waiting on my Beetle extension? And if I can, what will happen if my extension got denied?
All right, so you're on a B2 now, and you want to change to an E2, which would be a treaty investor visa, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you make the change of status to the E2 visa, as long as you are on that B2 visa, you file it within the time of the B2 visa extension, you're fine. So for example, you're on a B2 visa, you have now filed an application for an extension of that B2 visa. Several months later, before that B2 visa has been approved, you are now want to make a second application to change your status to an E2 visa. You have two applications pending. You got to make sure that the underlying B2 visa is approved, and then you follow up for the approval of the E2 visa.
Right, so I can't apply, I have to wait for the B2 approval, then I can apply E2.
You apply for the E2, but remember, you applied for a B2, and you got to make sure that B2 gets approved, so you can't just ignore the B2 visa. Because you said, for example, I'm making dates up, okay, from June 1st to December 31st, I'm tourist. From December 31st on, I'm E2 visa. You file for an extension in May for the B2 visa. In September, you now file for a change of status to E2. You haven't gotten the B2 approved yet. You need to follow through and get that B2 approved so that you are in legal status through December. And then you also have to follow through for the approval of the E2.
Okay.
All right.
Just one
caveat. One caveat. If you file for the E2 visa within 90 days of filing for an extension of a B2, depending on what the reasons you told the government why you wanted the B2 extension, may be contradictory to you becoming an investor visa. So be careful about misrepresentation.
Okay, so we on the B2 extension with the statement written, can you say them to?
You need a consultation at this point. You could say whatever you want, but you need a consultation at this point. Hold on. Let's go to Tay in Santa Monica, California.
Oh, hi, Brad.
Hi,
I hope
Tay.
you're doing well.
I am doing well.
Awesome. So I am married to a U.S. citizen. I'm going to be very straightforward. I have 4 applications pending.
4?
4 applications
Where you
pending.
From? Where you from?
I'm from Germany.
Okay. And
I came here as a F1 years ago.
Okay. What are the
and
applications that you have pending? You're married in a bona fide marriage to a U.S. citizen.
Yes, so I have an I-360 pending.
Why do you have
I-485.
Why do you have an I-360? Are you an abused spouse?
I'm a battered spouse of a U.S. citizen. I'm a domestic violence survivor.
Okay.
And
so did you remarry?
So I have my restraining.
Did you remarry a second person, or this is all based on
No, this is my first marriage.
Okay, fine. Okay. So now let's continue. I understand.
So I also have a renewal of my work authorization.
Okay.
I had a student EAD before, F1, and it expired in May this year, 2021. I renewed it. So
You renewed what?
Of course, I have I-360 pending. I have the I-485 pending. And I also have an advanced parole pending. So I-131.
Right.
I-131. Exactly.
So, right. So you forget the student visa. You're no longer student visa.
I'm no longer student visa, so I'm waiting because exactly pending adjustment.
Right. Okay.
And the EAD is also for the pending adjustment with the advanced parole.
Everything sounds like you're doing the right thing. So what's the problem that you have at this moment?
The problem is I am still waiting for my EAD renewal. So my EAD expired in May. I renewed it in January.
One second. When did you file the VAWA adjustment?
October last year, October or September last year.
Okay.
With the adjustment of status.
So you had a work permit through optional practical training on a student visa. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. So that's
which expired in May 2021.
Are you a STEM, science, technology, engineering, math?
Accounting.
Okay. All right. So let's take a step back. Okay. Number one, you're only allowed 1 year optional practical training. So your extension on the work permit for the student visa would be denied regardless of your VAWA
Exactly.
case.
So let me
finish.
I got the letter with the extension, but I didn't even use it because I knew already that my previous EAD card with the category number is not matching, so I'm not able to use it.
Okay, fine. So if you know that, why are you calling me today?
So I really want to know. So they took my fingerprints beginning this month. They took it like on the 2nd of September.
You want to know when you're going to get your work permit?
Exactly.
It'll be another 90 days. About 90 days from the time they fingerprinted you.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
It takes another 90 days.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So my problem, just circling back again with the I-360, when the battery happened, I actually left the country and I did the petition with the I-360 and I-485 abroad because
you can't file an I-485 from abroad. You have to be physically.
I filed it right when I left.
You have to be physically present in the United States when you file an
I
adjustment.
was here. And I filed it right when I left, like right before I left.
And did you leave with advance parole, or you did not leave with advance parole?
So that's the problem. I didn't leave with advance parole because I wasn't able to.
And then how did you return to the United States?
I actually came back. So I got an appointment for the biometrics.
How did you come back? How did you re-enter the United States?
I re-entered on the visa waiver.
Okay, so let me tell you, Tay, unfortunately for you, your adjustment's going to be denied because you left the United States, you filed an adjustment, and you left the United States without permission with advance parole.
But I had humanitarian reasons because, I really needed to see a doctor.
I understand all your humanitarian reasons. still doesn't it doesn't overcome the fact that you needed advance parole to leave. And then you re-entered the United States on a tourist visa for intention of continuing a green card.
It was because of the civil legal proceedings because I had to participate.
Nobody's saying you didn't have good excuses. We're not arguing your good excuse.
Okay.
I'm telling you what the law says. You could have the greatest excuse in the world. The law says if you are in the United States with a pending adjustment, no matter what the reason, okay, you had to go and get a kidney in another country. It was the only kidney in the world that you could have or you were going to die. If you don't get advance parole and you leave without it, we're glad you got your kidney, your adjustment is denied. If you come back, let me,
I wasn't able.
I'm on your side. Just listen, please.
I know.
Okay, so you can tell me all the excuses. Just listen to me. All right.
I'm listening.
All your excuses aren't going to make a difference. I'm telling you what you need to do now. You went to Germany or wherever you went to deal with your medical issues. You re-entered the United States on a tourist visa to continue an adjustment of status application, no matter what the reason was. That's a misrepresentation. You may have also have a 3 or 10 year bar. That's a whole other story. You then your adjustment is denied. You are not getting your work permit. You're not getting your travel document. You need to file a new adjustment application now with a waiver for misrepresentation, re-entering on a tourist visa with the intention of getting a green card. Hopefully you don't have a 3 and 10 year bar. But you have procedurally screwed up. Your waiver will most likely be approved because you have really good excuses. But procedurally, it's all screwed up.
I didn't overstay. I didn't overstay yet.
Okay,
I was planning to leave before overstaying.
So then you have just a misrepresentation issue. Hold on. You need help, Tay. Hold on 1 second. It's one of those days, Jonathan. John in Miami.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for the program, Brad. I've been watching you with the immigration recently, and you actually called it. I'm a TPS holder, and you called it on the registry the other day. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm here with my fingers crossed.
Me too.
So 2 questions, small questions, I hope. The first one is, I came to the U.S. in 2014 as an F1 visa, and then after I graduated, I adjusted my status to TPS. I've been on that status since 2015, and just recently in May, I applied for re-extension because it had expired. So my employment authorization was expired in March, but then got automatically renewed for 180 days, which will expire in 8 days, on September 30th. And I'm still waiting on my application with USCIS. I did what is this called? Expediting.
Okay, and what happened with the expedite?
They deny it.
Okay.
I told them I might lose my job because HR were reminding me.
It's not you losing your job. You need a letter from your employer saying they're going to terminate your job. Then do it again.
Okay.
Do it again that way.
Try it with a letter?
Yeah. You saying you're going to lose your job doesn't hold any weight. You get a letter from your employer saying, we are going to terminate you if you don't get a work permit renewal. That will expedite it.
I'll try it that way. Thank you. And then my last question is, since now I have a TPS, is it possible for me to apply for an asylum?
Yes, but you would need to show what country conditions changed, what circumstances changed that you didn't do it within the first year of your entry.
Okay, so probably it's too late for that because I've been here since 2014.
Most likely would be denied unless something drastic changed.
Understood.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll try with the letter from the employment. I appreciate it.
Okay, good luck.
Thanks.
Let's go to Iman in East Orange, New Jersey. Iman.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Because you're saying Iman, it's Kimian. Good night.
Oh, Kimian. Okay, they spelled it wrong for me. Good afternoon. Good evening.
I have a question. I got married to a U.S. citizen, and things not working out. So I'm considering a divorce because I don't know what, I don't know if, I think we need counseling, I'm not sure, but I'm considering a divorce. But we're pending a USCIS interview. So my question is, if I get divorced, what will happen?
You'd have to fall in love again and start all over.
Okay, so if I'm pending the interview and before the interview we get a divorce,
you would have to fall in love again and start all over.
I wouldn't be sent home or...
You could possibly be put in deportation. You never know. Why are you getting a divorce?
It's like the person kind of mislead me in a way, to be very honest. And it's like he has several personalities that I don't know when I'll get his good side from his bad side.
Well, you may. I don't know what you mean by good and bad side. Are you talking about, is he abusive to you?
Not physically.
Emotionally, verbally.
Verbally,
verbal abuse, as we talked about before, could possibly be extreme emotional abuse.
But what? And the other thing, why we didn't? We had an interview for this month, and I said I didn't want to go because at the moment we're not together. We're not living together anymore, and I don't want to go to the...
You can't go on the interview if you're not living together. So your choices, let me tell you what your choices are.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 3 choices. 1, get divorced and remarry, fall in love again sometime down the line. 2, file an abuse case. 3, get back together with, I don't know what his issues are, but he's got 4 different personalities. So I don't know if that would be. I don't see that as an option. So it's either abuse or get divorced. But he's certainly not going to show up to an interview alone because you're going to get denied. So hold on one second. Let's go to Herbie in New York City. Herbie.
Yes, this is Herbie. Thanks for taking my call, sir.
My pleasure. What can I do to help you?
Yes, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I just recently divorced. And can I apply for my pregnant fiancé?
Yes, you can. The next day.
Okay.
There's no time limit.
Yes. Second question. If I apply for my mom's, how long it take to get her here?
Where's your mom?
In Haiti.
Probably about 2 years.
2 years?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Good luck.
So,
it's supposed to be a year, but I'm telling everyone 2 years because of COVID and what's going on in Haiti, obviously.
Okay, so I'm gonna get back to the office so I can talk to one of your people so I can make an appointment to come see you.
Yep. Hold on one second. And by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, you could always follow me on Instagram at @RealBradBernstein. Drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your question on Instagram as best as I can. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. You don't like 2 hours of Brad and Yo-Yo and Vanessa when she's here, but you like 30 seconds of us. Follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And of course, you could also follow us on TikTok, our fastest growing social media platform, where you may possibly get a video answer by me to your legal question. And Yo-Yo.
And you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And later in the show, I will continue my discussion with award-winning Syrian-born artist Rashwan Abdelbaki about his journey to America is reflected in his art and what it was like arriving in January 2017, 1 week before the Trump administration's travel ban was put into effect.
And as world leaders gather in New York City this week for the United Nations General Assembly and are discussing climate change, it's also New York City Climate Week. Didn't know that as well. So today we're going to honor this week by going back and listening to part of Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg's speech at the 2019 New York climate strike.
We are not in school today. And this time, we are not alone. We have some adults who are not at work today either. And why? Because this is an emergency. Our house is on fire. Why should we study for a future that is being taken away from us, that is being stolen for profit? And what is the point of educating ourselves and learning the facts when the people in power refuse to listen to the educated and pay attention to the facts? Where I come from, things are very different than here. But when it comes to the climate and ecological emergency and the people in power, it is pretty much the same. Nowhere have I found anyone in power who dares to tell it like it is. Because no matter where you are, even that burden they leave to us teenagers, us children. Do you think they hear us? We will make them hear us. We are doing this to wake the leaders up. We are doing this to get them to act. We deserve a safe future, and we demand a safe future. Is that really too much to ask? Right now, we are the ones who are making a difference. If no one else will take action, then we will. But we are not just some young people skipping school or some adults who are not going to work. We are a wave of change. This is what people power looks like. We will rise to the challenge. We will hold those who are the most responsible for this crisis accountable, and we will make the world leaders act. We can and we will. And if you belong to that small group of people who feel threatened by us, then we have some very bad news for you. Because this is only the beginning. Change is coming, whether they like it or not.
All right, let's go to social media check-in.
All right, first comes from Denisha Joseph, Brad Squad VIP member. I'm still waiting for my I-130 to be approved. The priority date is November 2019, filed by my husband, a green card holder. It's been 22 months now, and I've heard nothing from immigration. What can I do?
If it's 22 months, you may want to start considering a mandamus action.
Aditya Narayana. All right, Aditya Narayana, YouTube. We got fingerprint notice for a U visa on FD 258 cards, and all the U.S. offices and consulates are closed. Can I get my fingerprints done at a private agency listed on the U.S. Embassy website?
For what is she doing her fingerprints for?
Just for notice for a U visa on FD 258 cards.
No, you would need to do it through the immigration service, but you don't do it through the embassy anyway. I'm not sure what she's applying for a U visa in another country.
So I guess she just wants to know if she could do the fingerprints at a private agency.
No, you can't do it privately. No.
Okay. Island Goddess 81 on YouTube. Any new update on the U visa bona fide redetermination? Do you know what the date is processed now? Or is being processed
for U visas, for the bona fide determinations, the USCIS is just coming out with their rules and regulations now. So hopefully people are going to start getting those notices very shortly.
Daxx Patel on YouTube. Can one reckless charge affect my green card application?
Of course it can.
Kern Matthew on Facebook. If I were to marry my spouse as a green card holder who's already in the USA, do they have to go back home, or can I file for the adjustment?
If they're overstayed their time, you would have to be a citizen to file the adjustment. If they're in legal status, file the adjustment now.
Anika Rowe on YouTube. I married an LPR, filed for VAWA in March 2020, got prima facie for a year, and then got another 180 days. Will they grant my EAD soon?
I hope so.
Shanti Brooks on YouTube. Is there any preferential treatment for employees from the Federal Bureau in regards to the time frame and waiting process if they're filing for their spouse who's in another country?
Probably not.
Okay, Isogene on YouTube. My removal proceedings got terminated. Can I travel with advanced parole to see my sick mother?
Yes.
Okay, K, God bless on YouTube. How long is a medical for an I-693 valid for AOS?
Within 2 months of filing.
And last one, we have J.D. Yates, Facebook. I filed my VAWA application with I-485 in June 2020. I had my working paper and it expired this month. How long will it take to be approved? I'm also in process of divorcing my husband. Will it be a problem with my VAWA if my divorce
your divorce won't be a problem for the VAWA. And the first part of the question was, what does she want to know? How long it will be? What
filed the VAWA application for
it takes about 3 years VAWA applications.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know when she filed it, but figure 3
June
years.
2020.
June 2023. All right. So yesterday I spoke with Rashwan Abdelbaki, an award-winning visual artist from Syria, who came to the United States through a fellowship with the Institute of International Education's Artist Protection Fund 1 week before the Trump administration's travel ban was put into effect. Today, we continue our conversation and learn how Rashwan has incorporated his immigration journey into his art and his advice for others navigating the United States immigration system. Let's watch. Rashwan Abdelbaki is an award-winning Syrian visual artist who has been based in the New York area since January 2017. Arriving in America just 1 week before the Trump administration's travel ban was put into effect. Rashwan joins me to discuss his experience immigrating to the United States of America, his home country of Syria, and how his identity as a Syrian artist based in America is reflected in his work. Thank you very much for joining me, Rashwan. I really appreciate it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be with you.
My pleasure. So let's discuss your art a little bit. You work in the medium of printmaking, acrylic on canvas. You obviously have extraordinary ability. The U.S. government, USCIS says you have extraordinary ability. You've reached to the highest level, the top of the top. And you have this recurring character that comes throughout all of your art. It's a face, one person. It looks like they're either blinking or their eye is closed. What is that all about?
My work in the beginning, it was different than painting or the acrylic on canvas. I started this new concept. After the war, I came up with a character. I called it one open eye, one closed eye. What I'm saying as a human, since we're born, we have fears from family, fears from society or community, fears from religion, from God, from government, from politicians. We spend our life to jump out of our fear or find a way to heal from our fears. So I'm saying, because all what we are witnessing now with the violence, with war, I'm saying that we can't sleep in peace. We can't close both of our eyes. We need at least one open eye all the time to be careful.
And what does your work Melting represent?
I started this one when I applied for my green card because you know how much it's a long-term process. I'm saying that this character or waiting make everything melting. The only thing it's still obvious, it's the open eye. And I came the idea because when I applied for my green card, I was asking myself, who is the guy who will decide that I don't know where he is or she is, whether Rashwan will get the green card or not.
I'm going to tell you something. That's a really amazing point. You have this unknown person,
exactly,
in an unknown location that you don't meet, that you don't know their name, you don't know anything about them. And they decide everything about your life. Your life changes completely if you're not granted a green card.
Exactly. So I did the painting, I called them Melting. So I just draw the character while all the details is melting, and stripe became like a barcode because I felt like I'm just a number, like I'm a barcode. I'm checking my visa status every day. I will just type this number and I will see if there's any update for my file or like. And after I get the green card, I start to do the opposite. So I said, I'm going to be optimistic now. I have my green card now, and I want to do something different. As I became now part of this community, I want to do a series called 3 Years in New York, just a sketch of the character, one open eye, one closed eye. And I want to repeat it in different work. And in each work, I want to talk about one of the events that I witnessed since I came to the US. From the wall to the visa, to a Mueller report, to the mass shooting, to the coronavirus, to the executive order from the former president, Mr. Trump.
So you have in your art your journey to America, your immigration journey. Do you have advice for people who are also right now struggling with their immigration issues?
Oh my God. The only advice is just they need to have patience. Otherwise, overthinking will drive you crazy. So here's the thing. So I was really upset and disappointed from the travel ban. And after that, I get the O1 visa. So I felt, this is the hope. I got my O1 visa, so I can do it. And the O1 visa helped me in one part, just for my art, that I'm able legally to do shows and sell work. But I wasn't able to have a normal job. So I'm accounting completely on selling work to pay my bills, which is hard. It's not easy. I'm in New York. The competition is very high. And there's thousands of talent artists here. So I decided to be like just optimistic and have patience and not overthinking, not be angry. Now I'm working in a show called The Equalizer.
By the way, for those who don't know, that's Queen Latifah's hit TV show, The Equalizer, and you are working as a set designer.
They call me a scenic industrial, and hopefully soon, once I take the exam and pass, I will become a scenic. But I'm working for a wonderful charge scenic called Emily Gaunt, and she offered me this job, and I'm so happy because I'm working with a lot of talent artists. And I start working, and I joined to the union. Now I'm a union member.
Do you ever think back, like, wow, where I was 5 years ago, and now I'm working on Queen Latifah's, on an American hit television show with famous people that I only saw at the news or on TV, and here I am working with them?
Oh, believe me, sometimes I don't believe it. It's just my reward after all this patience. Believe me, it's just because you ask what's the advice. The advice is it's have patience, because overthinking will drive you crazy and it will not be helpful.
I hope people take what you say to heart, because what you say is true and important.
It's not easy to be optimistic and think positively, but I just try it and it's very helpful.
Where can people find out more about your work, follow you on social media?
My website is my name, www.rashwanabdelbaki.com, and all my social media, it's my first name and my last name, Rashwan Abdelbaki.
And finally, tell me what your American dream is.
I have belief in this nation. I love this country, and I think we are capable, and that's why I wish to see the U.S. not having racism in the U.S. This is killing the country. And having control for the guns, to stop having mass shooting here in the U.S. Stop feed the fear-mongering, because it's not helpful. The problem is not the immigrant. And the problem in the system, although some people, they will say the system is broken. Actually, it's not broken. It's working in the same way that designed to work. I think we need to find a new way. There's a new generation in the US. They believe in their country. They believe that we are capable to do better. So very much, this is my American dream. It's not my American dream to have money and become the new Jeff Bezos. It's not.
Well, Rashwan Abdelbaki, thank you very much. Congratulations. Quite a journey from Syria to
Thank you for having
the green card. Congratulations on obtaining your lawful residence, and congratulations on an amazing career that just flourishing and continuing. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right, 9 more immigration questions. We got 50 seconds left.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You know, we always get it when I'm by myself.
So we don't have to delay. We don't have the delay of the Skype here. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Can I apply for a U visa with pending VAWA?
Yes.
Can a green card holder apply for their friend?
No.
Can a J1 holder marry someone who entered a B1?
J1 enter and marry a B1. You can marry anybody you want.
Can someone on TPS apply for a green card?
Through some other means, but not through TPS.
Can a C1D visa be adjusted after living 5 years in the U.S.?
No.
Can I stay in the U.S. on an F1 visa for a year without going to school?
Not legally.
Is a liquor store worker an essential worker?
A liquor store worker is not an essential worker.
Can I travel to the U.S. on asylum?
You can't travel to the United States for asylum. You can come to the United States and apply for asylum.
Can I travel on a pending I-485 based on asylum?
You can get advanced parole.
All right.
I was even answering long questions.
I know, I see.
We still do it. I don't think we have.
Ever.
We haven't had a problem with this in a while.
No, we can do it.
I think we got to make this harder.
How?
I don't know. We got to make it harder.
We'll think about it.
Like, I don't know, like maybe we should do like a shot of tequila after each
down for that.
After each question. And by the ninth question, I'm hammered and still trying to end.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
No, we won't do that. All right, comments of the day.
All right, our first comment of the day comes from Carol Anderson, the Tiger, saying Brad Live is funny and informative, and it's very interesting to listen to. Share this live, everyone. It's worth your while.
I agree, Carol.
Yes.
She's got it all in like 2 sentences.
Yes.
Worthwhile, funny, informative, share it with everybody. It's the best comments of the day. All right, next.
All right. Second one comes from Rosemary Barnes saying, me a talk like a real Jamaican now. Me look forward for you guys every morning for knowledge and laugh.
All right.
All
the
right.
little patois.
Little patois.
Saying exactly what Carol said, but translated for patois. Okay.
And our last comment of the day. You guys are funny for putting that.
Yes.
TK Jabbar Jalo saying, how I wish Uncle Brad was the Senate parliamentarian.
I wish I was too, just for one day.
Just for one day.
Just for one day. All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow for Spanning the World for Wacky News. Enjoy your night. Hopefully we'll have some more news tomorrow about immigration. Let's hope. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?